What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of No Client Agent Privilege, aka No Cap Podcast. It's your boy Evan, your boy Will on the end. Our special guest today, the youngest director of player personnel in NCAA Division 1, 2, and 3 history, Ryan Beer.
Pleasure to be here.
What is up, man? I mean, we've only talked about this for what, 2 months now? Good to have you. I mean, now that you've got a little bit of free time before we really get the season right around the corner. I mean, we're really, what, 4 weeks away?
We're really
like
there.
five Saturdays away from week 0.
Yeah,
so,
training camp is right
yeah, we're really, thinking about how, we were 2 months ago, just, spring ball had just ended. Now what do we do for summer?
Right.
like we're so bored. So
Time flies.
literally, so give us your kind of your background first. Where you're from, where you went to school, and things like that, and then how you kind of developed yourself from not only love of ball, but like into a position that helped you love that as well.
Yeah. So, I'm from the area. Born and raised in South Florida. 21 years old. 2-parent household. Parents are divorced, but both of my parents are pretty close to each other. Both of them were in my lives, and I give them both a lot of credit for where I've been. My mom, hardest worker I've ever known. She works 3 jobs still to this day, and she's able to provide, and she does what she wants to do. She's got 2 nice cars, and she does that because she's able to work.
Yeah.
She loves doing what she does, and I believe I get that from her. And then my dad has put me in the position to really love the game of football. Always grew up a Raiders fan, as well knows, right?
Going back to Vegas, huh?
Yeah, right. Every picture I've seen of me and my dad back in the days, always wearing a Raiders shirt or something like that, and that's where I really grew as like a football fan, and really that. And then as like a kid, early, obviously I'm not the biggest guy in the world, right? I knew I'm not gonna play.
Preaching over here, trust me.
Right, so being a Raiders fan, and I know this sounds stupid, and like as a kid, like you get made fun of, oh, you guys never won. I still never have seen the Raiders win a playoff game to this day, right? So what do you have to look forward to? You're not looking forward to playoffs. You're not looking forward to the Super Bowl. You're looking forward to free agency, the draft, who they're gonna bring in, who's gonna try to change the program, right? So that's where I really fell in love with the business side of the game. And then I always remember, even like as a kid, like in class, like I'm doing mock drafts, I'm finding any film I could try to get my hands on.
I feel like that's also our kind of our fantasy world that we live in with regards to fantasy football. Like we grew up in a generation where you could have that opportunity every week, or I can make a new draft before the season comes. I got a new team every week. How am I going to get the best points? So I feel like that's a benefit for guys like us on the analytical side to see who fits where, what scheme, what makes us the best team. So that's a great way to look at it as well from your position.
And like as a kid, like essentially that's where like the passion stems from, right? Being able to do all those things and kind of being able to live in your world. And then as time goes on, you learn more and more. And with technology nowadays, I mean, you don't really need to be in a building. You don't need to know anybody there. My dad is a plumber. My mom works in a restaurant. Like, it is what it is. Like, I don't have anybody that works in the game of football, but you know what? I have Google, and I have YouTube, and I have everything I need to learn from all those other people. So trying to use all that as a kid, and like I said, it's always been what I wanted to do. And I knew I wanted to go to a school that gave me an opportunity to like start that and do that early. FAU, right across the street from my house. So that was literally the only school I applied for. Thankfully, I got in, and it was COVID that year, right? We graduated in COVID.
We graduated,
so it was a little bit of a crap show that year. So freshman year, I wasn't really able. That first half of that year, I wasn't able to get into the building with Coach Taggart. So I was at Atlantic High School for a little bit.
Okay, gotcha.
For about a couple months, but those are relationships I'll have for the rest of my life. I still talk to those guys every day. And then finally got an opportunity. David Kelly, he's the GM of Colorado now.
Yep.
Working over there with Prime. But he just told me to come in, and I was still 17 at the time, and he's like, just show me what you got, and made a couple scouting reports, and he's like, just come in whenever you want. And from there, just kind of took everything and just ran with it.
Yeah,
really.
I think you really brought up a good point too, because my parents, nobody's football oriented, or there's no I guess you'd say, hook, or anybody to get us in the building.
Yeah.
On even my dad's side, my mom's side, nobody's in that game.
Exactly.
So it's like the YouTube, the Googling, being able to have those opportunities, even to find out how to become an agent, all that stuff. Like, if you didn't have somebody to teach you or tell you how to, then you were probably not going to make it anyway. So it's like, that was really what same for me with regards to how I came into this position of running an entirety of an agency, even though you're just looking at it not just from an agent perspective, but you're looking at it from a business perspective. How do you run a whole business? How do you run a whole corporation? So that's it's just literally learning. I mean, a master's didn't really do anything for me either, but it's like, that schooling was what had to happen to get me to the next point. And then that's where you check off your boxes. So it's like, you're saying you went to FAU and you couldn't get in the door. So you find a way to get into the door. So that's literally what you're supposed to do once you finally get that step. So, really for you at this point and the director role that you play, because when we talk about sports and how we always try to elevate, what's elevation-wise, what's coming for you this upcoming season? How is your, the title change and the position itself for you? How is that changing your life and, really kind of a day-to-day role for you, like operations-wise? How's it go for you?
So really, when I first got there, it was really just trying to get my hands on and anything I can, right? But that's put me in a position to where I travel on game days. I'm in the box with the defensive coordinator. I'm doing opponent scouting reports, evaluating all the guys either we bring in or don't bring in, right? Whether it's portal, high school, presenting things in front of the staff, and all that just kind of grew, and I just kind of stayed on top of it all. And now I really just look forward to really learning how to delegate for the first time in my life, really, which has been hard for me. Anybody that knows me knows I kind of just like to just do everything on my own. And it's not because I don't trust anybody, but it's just I don't know what it is. It's just
no, trust me. Will can vouch for me because Will will be like, "Yo, do you need anything? Do you need anything?" And I'm always the one to be like, "Nah, I'm good. Like I got it." Like I literally I try to force myself. Here, Will, do this. Here, Will.
Even me. Like I don't like to necessarily delegate or anything, but that kind of comes with the whole like now you're kind of elevating your role. I wanted to know also like how you have gone through the professional phases of your career. Like how are you able to build those professional skills to not only come in the building and say, yeah, I know ball, but I can also talk to those adults and talk to those executives and all those higher ups. Like how are you able to
look at it as a kid like I was saying,
right?
The kid asked, "Oh, you're still young. You still got a lot to do."
But how do you handle that? Like going through and being in these meetings and talking to all these, guys that have been doing this for 10, 20, maybe even 30 years. Like how do you navigate through that?
So really, these coaches that I work with, I'm smiling now because they know how much they mean to me, and they're all like father figures to me in a way,
right.
And they're all mentors to me. They all help me every day. If they're all honest with me, but really learning from them. I've been a part of 2 staffs now. I don't know if this is necessarily a good thing, but I've seen more than 2 coaches at every position in the building besides our strength coach, Joey G, and our O-line coach at Warner. But I do look at it as a blessing, right? Multiple head coaches. I've been around. Hines Ward was a coach for us, right? We have former first-round picks, Jim Thorpe Award winners, Hall of Famers. Chris Carter's on our staff, former head coaches. And they all take me in and treat me like one of their sons, and that's really where
that's big.
It's always been a getting better thing. I didn't just walk in the door and was like that.
Absolutely.
Like I was always a shy kid growing up and all that, but really being in front of those guys on a day-to-day basis, seeing how they operate, and then them being honest with me and teaching me and like wanting to see me get better. That's really where.
And you'll always be learning now.
Always be learning.
Always learning. I mean, the hands-on is the best learning.
I mean, if you're not learning in your career path, then what happens is you fall out of love, which is why it's so hard once you get into sports to kind of get out of it because you're just every day is something.
That's
like legitimately, like when we go into even some of the guys that we were with this weekend, like just talking to them, haven't seen them in a year. Some guys haven't seen in 2 years because we didn't go to Vegas.
Right.
But just the the ability to be like, yo, like start right back up where we were. Hey, how you doing? What's up? The same kind of connections you've built. But also, the love of the game is what bonds you through those connections.
Exactly.
So it's a kind of a a niche in our industry that you're able to do that no matter what team you're on, no matter what side of the table you sit at, you're still there because either your our client loves the game or your player loves the game, and that's why we're all here. So it's like one of those things where the business side and the sports side collide, but the sports side will always win. At the end of the day, we talk how money hungry owners are and stuff, but there's majority of them still love the game, still want to be a part of the game. So now at this point in your career and being at FAU with success and kind of coming off of I'd say a good start for Herm with regards to a fresh start basically.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
literally
AFC as well,
and a new conference. So kind of give us a projection for this season, how you feel about how spring ball went, how the summer workouts have been. I know I've been to Joey's workouts, so I know how those go. I mean, I can tell you those workouts are not easy. As a strength coach myself, I've taken stuff that I learned from Joey and put it on our board. So kind of give us your, I know the scouting reports we do, so I can only imagine the scouting reports you do on your, your day to day. Give us a little insight to how you feel this season's really going to go for you guys.
So last year, obviously 4-8 isn't what we wanted. First year new conference. Herm's obviously first year in his regime. This year, I feel like we brought in a ton of great quality guys while also getting some other guys that needed to be gone out. But the guys that we feel that we brought in are going to be game changers, and the guys that are coming back, we feel like there's something about them that there's a reason why they're still, because like in today's game, right? Those guys could have left whenever they want. We could have got rid of them whenever we wanted. And
it's the world we live in,
right? And we're all here together. So and they've really taken that. And these guys, they're fun to be around. They're really fun to be around, and they come to work every day and high competition. And we got a lot of leaders on this team, and I feel like we're gonna do a lot of big things and big things. We open up with Michigan State this season. That'll be the big one, week one. That's the only game I want to talk about now. We'll focus one at a time.
That's it. Game one is all that matters from now until then. That's all that matters. One game at a time.
Right. But we do got a couple fun ones on the schedule for sure.
Are there any other ones in specific that you're looking forward to? Maybe like down the line. Obviously, one game at a time. But is there anybody you have circled on the calendar after Michigan State?
FIU is always a fun one, right? That we didn't get to play them.
USF too, right?
And then we got USF.
I think that USF one will be that'll be a good one, especially because that's here. So I think
they like to travel too.
They're for school that doesn't really, it's so sporadic with their football program. They do still travel well, and obviously in-state is
in-state.
You don't want to lose in-state games no matter what. It doesn't matter if you're playing FIU, UNF. Even if Gulf Coast had a team, you wouldn't want to lose to them. Like you just don't want to lose to in-state rivals, even if they're not really rivals.
Definitely not.
But we got them Friday night, Halloween weekend, I believe. So that'll be a really fun one.
It'll be scary.
Yeah, it'll be really fun. So, that's really what I think. But I like the guys we brought in. 40 new guys to be exact. So it'll be fun.
So let's also we talked about a little bit how you worked your way into the door, and give us the pathway of your positions, like kind of title by title of how you progressed through. So like where you started at technically to now your true role as the director of player personnel. Because for me, I laugh because at the end of my career, I probably do want to be a GM. I'm sure that's probably where you want to sit as well. So it's like I laugh because our roles have now kind of intertwined towards the end of our career. So it's like you could be the GM of one team, I could be the GM of one team, Will could be the GM of another, and kind of it's funny because the GM role has become so popularized by, again, fantasy football, managing players, stuff like that.
NIL too.
Yeah, NIL is huge. I mean, every college now is having an NIL director, GM, however it is you want to put it. So kind of give us where you started from technically to the roles you've played since, and now, I mean, what's it been? 3 years? 2 years?
This will be my fourth season.
Fourth season.
This will be my
fourth season. So give us that kind of progression of, I guess you could say, promotion to where you're at now, and then the technical terms of your director of player personnel.
So I guess when I first got there, I would have just been a student personnel assistant, right? So I was at with Taggart. Did that, and like I said, I was just getting my hands on anything I could get, really. But that staff, it was coming out of COVID, wasn't very big support staff. So it was really David Kelly, who was the DPP at the time. It was me as a student assistant, and then that first season, it was a guy named Matt Weisner. He's our director of recruiting now. He's still here with me. Gotcha. So I've been very close with him. That's my brother in arms. So we did that our first season, and obviously only being 3 guys, you're doing a lot of things, right? And it was very fast-paced, and that was my first ever season in college football, and it was a lot of just holy shit moments. This is really happening, to say the least. But those guys, Mike Stoops was the DC. Lance Thompson, I saw him yesterday. That's my guy. He's up in Maryland now, but I still talk to those guys a decent bit too. And then that next year, the staff got a little bit bigger. Right, we brought in 2 more people, and then I was still a student, right? Still a student, but we had a little bit more help. And then did that, and then Herman came in, and he just gave me 1 meeting with him, and we had to find a quarterback, and we're looking every day. We're sitting in a film room together, just watching guys, and he's like, I'm gonna promote you. He's like, here, you there's no reason for you not to have a title or anything like that. So he gave me director of scouting, still as an undergrad, as a junior. So I was at all last season, and then this season, I did have a couple opportunities, but I love FAU, and this is my home. This is where I want to be. I love these guys, and he decided to give me that title.
Well, so. I think it's a great chance for you to grow. Being at an FAU, a Group of 5 school. Obviously, they just had the conference change. It's not like you went to a UF or an FSU where it's such a football powerhouse and there's so many layers to their program, to where you might have been competing against twice, maybe 3 times as many people for the positions that you wanted. Yeah. Whereas now, I don't want to relate it to the game that just came out, but the road to glory and all that, it's kind of you on the business side kind of doing that, and being able to take this FAU team that hasn't been spectacular, but you have the chance to do something great there. And I think that's definitely something that you have in mind that you want to do. You want to stamp your name on that and be known for that. So I think
especially it's my alma mater now. Graduate on August 6th will be my graduation, so that's big for me. Get my degree in business. And whatever that means.
Amen to that. Amen to that. I don't think I've ever had anybody ask me, "Oh, what's your degree in?" As an agent, I don't think anybody's ever asked me. I think the only question,
that's what matters.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm a certified agent. That's the only thing that ever matters when it comes to make sure your agent's certified. He could have 10 degrees, still not be certified. It don't make a difference. Man, but so. Now that you got to this position, and I think we just kind of dawned on it a little bit about future aspirations. The college world, I still think, with regards to a GM position, it's still got a lot of work to do with regards to making it worth their while. Because I'm sure with the NIL world, for the next 3 to 5, it's still going to be kind of figuring it out. I mean, a lot of the bigger schools have kind of gotten it a little easier because they have the money coming in. Yeah. But even still, at this point in NIL world, your future aspirations towards, the general manager positions, getting into the league, stuff like that, is there I guess you could say your 5, 10, 15 kind of in the works? Sure. Do you have it mapped out in your head? Because that's how I am. So I know. This year is for my 5'10" is huge. This year I already know is huge for me. So yes, it's been a rocky road, but like the plan is still going. So like I know you said you started with COVID and it was like kind of same. So it's like, is that roadmap still kind of laid out and you've kind of gotten to the point where you're like, okay, it's still working, it's still going, and what is that for the next 5, 10, 15 for you?
So I just want to say I'm blessed to like be able to do as many things as I've done and like be as around as many people as I have at 21. Uh, I've always said I've had the same plan since I've been like 8 years old. Ideally, obviously this is a fantasy land, right? Fantasy land, right?
Dream big.
Obviously, I want to keep doing this for a while. I love college football. I love changing lives. Being able to like take kids out of crap neighborhoods and give them a good education and give them a chance to chase their dreams. I mean that there's nothing in the world that there's no better job than that. And like seeing kids smiles, um, and then obviously you're working in football, right?
Of course.
No duh. Um, Eventually do want to get to the NFL. But like I said, I'm always learning and everything. The Niners are actually giving me the first opportunity to do this. So the 23rd, I'll be going out for their training camp for a week.
Right. I think Will did mention that. Now I put the pieces together. Yeah. I forgot you did say he was leaving next Tuesday, week and everything. Yeah. Okay,
I'll be
gotcha.
going there for a week to hang out with like their scouting department, their personnel department, learn how they do things. So that'll be extremely fun and very good for my development. But just taking it year by year in terms of what obviously where I'm at, and like what happens and everything. Right. But eventually I do want to get to league, and then at the end of it all, I would love to be 50 years old, 45 years old on television. That's
getting ready for the draft.
Yeah,
in the war room, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
But not even that. I would like to just at the end of it be on like do what you guys are doing now, like just be on TV.
Oh yeah, like ESPN. Yeah.
Games like what's
hey, ESPN. We're on TV.
Yeah, right. But like you know what I'm saying, like that's the lifestyle. So I always want to be in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we talked about like the sports, the love for it, like the goal is to stay in it. Yeah. Like that's the legit goal. No doubt, I think and I think any player will kind of tell you the same thing. Of course. Very rarely do you find a player that has like not that they don't have secondary passions, but it's like this passion outweighs the other ones by so much. They'll play forever unless something happens.
Frank Gore, baby.
Yeah, Frank, LeBron. I mean, those you're talking about guys that their entire draft class and other draft class after them are all out of the league, gone. Not a player after them. So it's like, it's so hard to find a career path where you can there are people that are doctors and lawyers and stuff for their entire career, and it's like you hope that they loved it. They say that they love it, but it's like you get to the end of your career and you look back. Did you really love it? I mean, exactly. I mean, you hope they say yes as well. But I know everybody that has worked in sports and everybody that has played in sports and then continued on in sports never look back and go, "Damn, I shouldn't have done that. I should have worked something else. I should have gone somewhere else. Like I shouldn't have worked that. Like you'll never hear that. You'll never hear that. Like." So for me, I mean, that's why I look at the sports world in general. Like we're talking, how 8 years old. I mean, I was a junior in high school and I knew I wanted to be an agent. Yeah. Going into my senior year of high school, I knew I wanted to be an agent. I mean, Will has told me since day one that he just wants to work in sports. Period. Doesn't for front office of a team, any of that. So it's like for that mindset, it's still very rare to find a career path or just a industry where your mindset is, oh yeah, I want to stay in this industry forever. Yeah. I really, and again with the college versus NFL, I think that's where on the business side, even for me, like I love college football. Yeah. I love college football. Like there is not many other. College basketball is great. Pro football, pro basketball is great, but like college football, and I think it just takes people like us who can actually sit here and probably sit on our couch on Saturdays and not do anything but watch football. It's very few people out there that can understand the love for the game, that also the amount of work that goes into every Saturday to understand and appreciate those Saturdays. So it's like college, it's just a different level. Like growing up going to Dolphins games, I would still rather go to a primetime early 2000 Miami Hurricanes game any day than those. Like,
no doubt,
you know what I'm saying? So it's like for those, it's like, oh man, like here we are, 2024. College football has done nothing but grow. Pro football has done nothing but grow, and I would still choose college football in the world that is in than the NFL world. And then it really is. I mean, it really is the traditional side of a lot of it, and I don't know where I was gonna say I don't know where but see, I don't even know where the fault. I think it comes to the fans, the passion, like.
You got the bands, the
marching band. Yeah, it's everything. It's everything. So it's again for me. It's always been kind of like, who was talking about it? Oh, Chet, your boy, was talking about how he loves playing in Miami because nobody's there till quarter 2.
Well, that was taken out of context.
Well, I mean, yes and no.
No, because he said that the original quote was just talking about how, like, in Miami, everyone's kind of like, they're at the game, but they're doing their own thing. And then, like, it's quiet until the fourth quarter. When they come out, they're done being in their suites, being influencers and drinking and all that. And now they're, like, at the game. But like, for the most of, like, a Heat game, like, for most of the time during a Heat game, like, yeah, it's relatively, like, I don't want to say fair weather, but they're not as into it as they would be if you go to Oklahoma City or Indiana or one of those smaller market, I guess you could say. Even I was gonna say Orlando, but maybe not Orlando. Yeah, like something like that. Even the Lakers, like the Heat culture. We know the Heat culture, but I'm talking about, like, the way their fans work. The way their fans work is more so like to, like, the Lakers or the Knicks.
Yeah, you don't want that fan culture in your team culture.
No, you don't, because fan culture is just like, if you're not doing well, they're not going to be there.
Right.
Which I'm sure you've seen also, working on the sidelines, and you kind of look around and you're like, damn, like, I wish we had more people here. You know what I mean? Like,
there's a couple of those games every year.
Yeah, but on that note, though, of kind of like what you were talking about, college versus NFL, when you get to the league, how much of an adjustment do you think it's going to be for you to say things are going to be different now in the NFL versus college? Like, how different do you think it's really going to be?
Oh, yeah, extremely different. I don't know if I would ever get there. Like, this week with the Niners will be huge in terms of, like, I feel like this is the week where I technically will learn how different it really is. But it's a whole different ball game, man. Like, it's all contracts, man. Like,
especially because I was thinking, like, obviously through recruiting, you don't really do it the same way that you do it in the NFL. You have an agent. You kind of meet with the agent.
Your views. I mean, your views of a scouting department are completely different from what you're looking for at the pro football side to the college football side. Because sometimes in college football, you might not need the 5-star kid to fit your system. You might need the 3-star kid that can come in and be a dog and fight for, their roster spot, and you just know he's not going to get in trouble. You don't have to worry about him in the classroom. There's certain other aspects where those things might not weigh into factor in your professional team career. So there's definitely, on the scouting side, on the pro side, is a little bit different, and really, not to say apples to oranges, but basically yes, because the scouting is so intense. Like, I can tell you, like, from other scouts that I've spoken with, not that they want to be like this, but they kind of have to be because of how good the league is. They are looking for any, I guess you say, red flag to not have to look at this kid another film session. Like, it's not anything personal to the kid. It's legitimately, that's how much film they have to watch. There are so many hours in the day. They cannot give every single kid the benefit of the doubt. So if they find a red flag that legitimately sticks out to them, hey, we got to move on.
Yeah. But that's why you have those sleepers. I don't want to say sleepers, but, like, you have those people that come out and end up being good.
Well, so you have your green flag. You have your guys that grade out very well. And then you take those guys and you put them into a certain category. Then you have those guys that are tweeners. They might not fit the best of that position, but they're good enough, athletic enough that they can hang. And then you kind of work your way down into what you need after the end, after your draft picks, after your free agency is done. So yeah, you always break down your categories into what you need, what you don't need, who you're looking for, what void you need to fill, stuff like that. So
even I saw you showed me some of your, reports and things that you do, and the way he was grading them was kind of like starter and then role player, basically, and then you had like not for us, pretty much. Like needs serious work.
That is a perfect categorization of how you would want to view somebody on a team basis. Like you're looking to see, can they, if you're with the 49ers, you're not going to really grade so hard on running backs. You're going to find somebody that can be a role player, not a starter. Like you're going to find somebody that can carry a load if CMC goes down. Like there's certain, and it also depends on the team. Like it really just depends on what you got.
It's all contextual.
Yeah, exactly. So it's but again, the knowledge to know what you're looking for is half the battle, but also making sure that what you're scouting is worth your time too, because you only have so many hours in the. Even if you pull my buddy Derek, who's the assistant quarterback coach at Pitt, he would watch film for hours, and it's like you only have so many hours in the day, so it's like he's like, I should have watched more film, and it's like, dude, you watch as much film as you could, but that's football, guys. Like that's how we are. Like you just can't get it out of your system, man. Like
there's always something you could be watching, especially in recruiting personnel. The way I always say this is a big thing. I always say is you're never done. There's always something. Even something may not be a priority right now, but there's always something that you could be doing to be getting your team better. There's always a study you could be doing. There's always a kid you could be watching. There's always something you could be doing. So we've had break for about a whole month now. I probably go in about 4 days out of the 7 a week still, and it's like I'm home, and it's like I don't know. There's 133 other teams out here that those guys could be all in their building right now doing something that we're not, and just.
Competition.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right.
There's always something you could be doing to trying to get your program to the next level. I truly believe it.
I mean, business is competition, but sports is also competition. So sports business combining those avenues, but they both kind of have the same principle of competition. You're always trying to figure out what you can do to give yourself and your business that you're working for that competitive advantage. We talk about that in business classes: competitive advantage, sustainable competitive advantage. You want to sustain that for yourself to boost your career longevity trajectory, so that you can get to being 50 years old and doing what you want to do. So you can be retired by 50 years old or have agents underneath you. You know what I mean? Like, but that's also goes hand in hand with the business side. Like you want to do it for yourself. You want to do it for your players, but you want to do it for the overall whole entity that is the team or is the agency.
Right.
I mean, that's again, you brought up a good point with the advantage. Where do you lie at an FAU? The advantage of I think the Panthers, the Florida Panthers, brought up a great point of competitive advantage being at the beach. How they sold that to them. I think FAU on the NIL side come to paradise. But I mean, legitimately, an entirety of a professional team was based off selling these Canadian players. Come on, man. The beach, we got elbow room right there. Come on, like they legitimately sold them the beach. They sold them the dream. So I think FAU has really, I would say now pushed into that mindset. I mean, I think we talked about that photo shoot at the beach. I think that between that. Like that legitimately, that's the creativeness towards it. But again, not only that, but the advantage of a kid from, let's say, Alabama that doesn't want to go out,
some landlocked state.
Yeah, never seen the beach before. You're able to tell them, hey man, you don't have to stay in Alabama for the rest of your life. You can come down to Florida for 4 years, be a star, be a stud, come be with us, live in paradise for 4 years, enjoy your life, and experience something. Like, it is a whole pitch. Even for me, I don't know how you guys pitch it, but for me, that is my mindset as an agent, as a guy who I've had clients from Mississippi, from Ohio, come down here and kind of the same. Damn.
You're looking around.
This is kind of nice.
Have you gotten those reactions kind of?
I bet.
When you bring people down here and they're like,
you tend, because of where we are and who we recruit. Obviously, we're in a high football hotbed, right? South Florida. So high school wise, we tend to stay in the state. So most of these kids have seen the beach if they're a high school recruit. the transfers is really where you get that reaction. If they just got done playing in some Midwest school in like the Big Ten or something, and then you come down to FAU on a visit, and your first meal's like on the beach, and you're staying at a
You're watching the
hotel with
sunrise
the ocean
at
view.
7
Yeah,
a.m. for your workout.
well,
Like, it's pretty cool, even though
yeah.
it sucks. You're on the beach and you got to work out, but it's still pretty cool to
You
watch.
tend to get those reactions out of those guys more than the high schoolers, because they most of them are from down here. But yeah,
Right.
no, that's you guys hit it on the head. That's really what we do. So
It's no surprise to me. I mean, I talk about it with other clients myself. Like, that's my pitch to them. Like, you might as well come down here, train down here. We train the best. We grow the best. We are the best. With regards to how many people we put in the NFL, how many people we put in the NBA. I mean, your comparables are. It's not even negotiable.
Yeah,
like,
no
it's
doubt.
really not. Like, athletically, you want to compare athletes to athletes. We'll put our best 10 against your best 10 in any state, and we'll put it to the test. So. Again, yeah, I think we, and on the NIL side, the high schoolers kind of, I agree with you. I mean, growing up, we all had friends that all hit the beach. So,
Yeah, no doubt.
somebody had a car, somebody had
Yeah,
somebody to way to get to the
yeah.
beach. So that's understandable on that end. But, Will, any last questions for Ryan before we wrap it up?
Just real quick, like on ending on a good note, like what do you? I'm sure you've gotten high schoolers that have walked in there or whatever that want to know what you do and what advice you have for them.
Yeah.
So here, if you'd like to just give a little advice as to somebody that wants to get in the door how you got in and wants to do that, how would you kind of tell them to go about their business?
Honestly, this sounds very cliche, but I believe I'll talk about specifically football in a second. But the most important thing, and I hope you guys say the same thing, is just find something that you really love and want to do, and just be the best at it. I mean, just keep working, and if you can't put your head on the pillow at night and say, I got better today, I did something to improve my growth, and then that's not it for you. That's what I hopefully. I mean, when we have a bunch of interns at FAU, other students, right? I would say they're all passionate about the game and everything, and they do a tremendous job. But just getting your face in the door early. If you're a student, if you're a high school student, I would even start in high school if you're thinking about doing it, working for your team down there. If you're a college student, trying to hop in as immediately as possible, going in there, shaking everybody's hand, not burning any bridges. You don't know who anybody knows. And then if you do get that opportunity, just attacking every day with a consistent passion and just trying to get your hands on everything you can. And you may have to go run and get a couple coffees or go run across the street. But you know what? In the long run, it will be worth it. In the long run, it will be worth it. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is resonates towards the generation of kids. I think, like I said, I think we've talked about it, like how sports has really bonded the careers and paths of a lot of people. Like, I know my internship program, I always laugh because kids come in thinking they want to be agents, and I've really, out of the 24 or so interns that I've had over the last 4 years, I've only had 2 become agents. Like, I mean, that's 20 plus interns.
Which is who?
Alex and Matt.
Okay. I've never met him, but he was before me.
Yeah, so it was, out of I've had, almost 24 interns. Out of them, I would say 90% of them have come to me and said, hey, I want to be an agent, or I want to work at an agency.
And then 10% of them only do it.
Yeah,
so
because they learn, they see how hard it is, but they have gone on and worked in sports. So that's what I'm probably most proud of with regards to kind of the same mindset. I tell them the same, like what I was saying with you, just come in every day and work. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to love being an agent, but like love the sport, love the reports that you're doing. Live. Hey, let me do some more. Hey, let me look. Hey, I found this guy. You should look at him. I'm like, all right, write me a report. Let me see it. Like, show me. I was like, I don't have eyes everywhere. I was like, you guys are my eyes. Like, show me what you got. So I think a lot of that, doing more than what you're asked of too. If you required. Yeah, then you're doing exactly, and that and
Johnson,
so exactly.
What others don't.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my mindset, and I give kudos to Will for putting his name on a lot of that as well. So and a lot of the guys have become lawyers and stuff like that. So it's not like they didn't not become agents or not doing it, but it's just funny because the mindset has transferred over to them, kind of like what you were saying with, being able to put your head on the pillow every night and be okay with it because they know that this wasn't the route, but what they found was what they wanted. So that's what makes me proud of the program. I don't build it to not build ages. I build it to the reality of it, that you can see where my life is, how it's been built, how this goes, how hard it is, and kind of like there is no roadmap. Like for you, there was no roadmap. You had a roadmap in your head, but it's not like you could be like, all right, on Tuesday you're gonna go here, you're gonna talk to this guy here. On Thursday you show up at this place. There is no like.
If you told me when I was 15 that I'd be 21-year-old director of player personnel, I'd look at you like you had 6 heads.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a perfect. I mean, even going through the time in college, I can only tell you how many times a professor told me, "Oh, you want to be an agent? That's really hard, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's really hard. I've done the research. I know how hard it is. Like, you don't have to tell me, lady. Like, I got it. Trust me. I was like, you're not the only one. I was like, I'm sure there's 3-4 other guys in here that are saying the same exact thing.
Absolutely.
So I mean, again, we really appreciate your time. I think at this point for us, I'm excited for FAU season. I know my guy Wyatt's gonna, try to ball out this year, so I'm excited for him. You guys, I really think. I mean, there's just no reason FAU can't continually grow for the next 5 years. Like,
it'll be good.
Like I have thought about it since I left school. Like, because I graduated 2012.
Yeah.
Since I've left school, FAU was always the backup school to anybody that didn't go out of state or Tallahassee, UCF, UF, any of those. But like now, I do know kids that legitimately coming out of high school are like, no, I'm good with going to FAU. Like, I am okay. Like, it's changed. So kudos to FAU for changing the culture, my aspects of being a student at FAU. Obviously, the city of Boca letting it grow with it, kind of, Boca's so old and, in their ways. It's great to see, between the stadium. Like, there was no stadium when I was growing up. There was a practice field by the airport. That was it. That was all you had. That's it. So, again, it's great. And again, adding youth to the coaching staff and rosters, that is, it's not like Herm's an old guy or anything. Like, he's a young guy,
Works out every day.
Yeah, as I say, still works out every day. I mean, for me, I kind of look at it as like, if they choose Herm to be the long-term or longevity of the program, that's probably not a bad idea because he's got so many years left in the tank. So, again, I hope nothing for the best for you guys this season. I'll be at a few games for sure. We'll be at a few games for sure. Definitely be bopping our head around and hoping, again, nothing but success for you guys in the upcoming years. Especially good luck in San Fran too. That'll be sick. I mean, if there's a front office to learn from, you got your foot in the door with the right one. I'll tell you what, I'll give it to San Fran. Then they can scout with the best of them. So, good luck out there and enjoy it. And like you said, absorb everything and really, that's great that you get that opportunity and you can bring it on back here and finish out this year and really, like you said, put it to the test. How different, like Will said, how the NFL to college is. You're about to find out.
Yeah.
You're gonna learn today.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So you're gonna learn today.
Absolutely.
But we appreciate you, Ryan, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys for having
So,
me.
Of course.
we appreciate you guys as well listening in. So this is Ryan Beard, the youngest NCAA Division I, Division II, Division III Director of Player Personnel at FAU Football. We welcome him. We're glad he joined us. This is Will, your boy Evan. Thanks for joining us.